Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's David Palmer, Leo King. This is my show, Uncut Astrology, where I take off the mask and go deep behind the veil and give you this week's astrological forecast for the week of May the 11th through the 17th of 2018. Thanks so much for being here, and thanks for being a part of FutureLife.tv. Of course, you can watch these videos every week on FutureLife.tv and the daily videos as well. So, truly appreciate you being a subscriber. And of course, there's 11 other people on there. So, I'm bringing out my Uncut Public because, number one, this used to be a show everybody loved, and of course I pulled it to the app. But I've always made a dedication and a promise to when the biggest events happen that I'm always there for all my public audiences. And if there was a week out of this year that I would bring out an Uncut for free, it would be this week. The reason why is because there is so much cosmic activity this week with planetary aspects, ingress of Uranus moving into a new sign. There is a lot going on this week. This is definitely not a normal week. The first thing that I want to say is whenever Uranus moves into a new sign, it feels like the world is going crazy. So if you feel like you're going crazy, it's normal. Uranus rules our stimulation. It rules our nervous system. It also rules, I think, when neurons kind of fire in our brain and they all somehow magically, which I don't even think neurosurgeons truly understand yet, how they come together and radically can come together with radical ideas, epiphanies. But more importantly, Uranus is a planet that tries to find connection with all things and find a way to bring it together into one. And now that this week, on the 15th of May, Uranus is coming into the sign of Taurus, an Earth sign, a fixed sign, and Uranus itself is actually a fixed planet. I think that this is going to be a major shift for us, especially because this actually looks at our life. This actually looks at what we're creating. And it realizes now, okay, there is a lot of pieces here I need to figure out. Uranus is to me the broken bicycle with all the pieces, or even better yet, when you go to IKEA and you try and build something and there's a bunch of parts everywhere and you're tired and you go, I don't want to build this piece of crap right now. That's Uranus entering into Taurus, is learning how to put it together, learning the quality of it, and then really realizing, was it worth me building that? Or was it better if I just would have gone to Pier 1 and ordered it and had them deliver it to my house? Sure, it might have been a little bit more expensive. But Taurus is the ultimate lesson of not only the skill sets of putting things together, but the final result of Taurus is, I know the quality of things. Maybe I should have picked quality over cheap. And I think that this is going to be a major transition in our life, in our spiritual world of, what is it that we really are holding on to in our life that maybe isn't connecting with ourselves, especially as Uranus has just gone through the sign of Aries. This has been a long transit. This has been for almost the whole 2010s. I mean, this has been about trying to understand and put all the pieces together of all your masks and who you are. And now it comes into Taurus and goes, okay, well, what are you going to do with that person? What are you going to do with that self? So there's a lot of things that we're going to talk about, but I just wanted to say that coming into this week that, that's the major theme. Number one, like weird situations are going to happen. They're going to test your ability to put them back together and find your skills, find your talent. You are more talented than you realize to figuring out crazy situations and learning that you have the tools inside of yourself to build them, reconnect them, and fix them. That is the most basic underlying lesson of Uranus entering Taurus. But we start off this weekend with radical energy. Mercury is going to conjunct Uranus as it's squaring Mars, as Mars squares Mercury. So, and then Mars squares Uranus. So I just want to say that, the way to look at this is pushing Crazyville more. It's going to feel like there is so much going on and so many directions, and there's so much stimulation, and this is some major ego shit going down. I'm just going to be honest with everybody. This is the dark moon that's going to be starting in Aries, conjuncting Uranus, conjuncting Mercury, squaring Mars. Now that's been in shadow, getting ready for its retrograde next month. I mean, these are like, you don't see this shit. Like, I've done astrology a long time. You can look at tons of charts. We're moving into territory we've never seen before on a really high extreme scale. And this is, I said in my weekend report on the app, like, this is like, we have to really watch the crazy reactions to how we want our life and the crazy stimulation we want, because Mars, Pluto, and Saturn and Capricorn are all saying we've got a lot of anchors, a lot of our energy into finding that path you really want in your life. Is your ego going to fuck this up? Is your ego going to be like, no, I want to do this? Aries stuff is so basic, right? It's like, ooh, I want to go to McDonald's and get a Big Mac. It's like, oh, it's not healthy for you, though. Oh, I don't care. I want it anyway. But when this comes to bigger situations in life, this weekend is a weekend to not screw around. Especially because it's Mars square Uranus. I mean, that already deals with traumatic accidents. That deals with crazy, radical re-identifications of our path, our road, our identity changing, our ego letting itself almost go crazy or loose, per se. And with Mercury on top, adding to the trickster element, like with a square to Mars, which could be brutal as well, forcing ourselves, not thinking things all the way through, thinking it's a good idea when it's really a really, really bad idea. Why else do you think that all this is building up right before Uranus comes into Taurus on May 15th? With a new moon, by the way, which just happens to be on the star Algol, which is, the demon star. I mean, there's a lot to this week that we could point out in a million different ways, but I think that the number one thing is, okay, if it's not worth it, if it's not good for your path, think 5, 6, 7 times about it before you even do it. Because you're messing with fire right now. Like extreme fire, and the deniability rate is extreme right now with Neptune. That's our place of escape. And Neptune's starting to trine Jupiter. Oh, but I really want it deep down emotionally, and it'll be a fun ride, so fuck it, let's go. I don't care if it's going to be crazy and wild, but I don't know if people are realizing, are you sure you're really ready for that revelation of crazy and wild? This is definitely a week to say, I really need to think things all the way through. I need to think things longer. And I think Mars, Pluto, and of course Saturn and Capricorn, that's part of the whole lesson is, okay, yes, there's many paths that we can take in life, but there is an end goal. And so it's like thinking things and taking your time and being patient about things. I know, especially with all this Aries energy this weekend and coming into the end of Uranus in Aries, well, it's not officially over. Remember, in November, it comes back into Aries, just for a little moment. But our egos are really, frustrated. They're frustrated of delays. They're frustrated of the bland day-to-day life of feeling like a slave to the world, to the earth, to your job. So all you want in your life in Aries is whatever that you want. Whether you want to leave a relationship, whether you want to leave a job, whether you want to go on a crazy adventure or hiking trip, whether you want to go do some drugs, whether you want to go to the bar and just say, fuck it all. That energy right there has got extreme craziness all around it for some reason. And I'm just being a channeler of the universe right now and what the universe is saying. Like, I'm not making this shit up. That's what the stars say. I can't fucking move them. You know what I mean? I can't move them. I really wish I could just be like, oh yeah, I just want to have all that stuff for you this weekend. and into this week, and a new moon with Uranus and Taurus, where Taurus, unfortunately, is not an easy sign for a lot of people who have low self-confidence, or people who, are always bargain shopping, or, this is not an easy place. Uranus and Taurus is not counting your money, learning that the money's going to come in, knowing that you have the value, you have the skills to figure it out no matter what crazy situation comes on. Even if you don't have all the tools, there is a tool somewhere that you can figure it out. You know what Uranus and Taurus really is? MacGyver. It's MacGyver. I don't know if you guys remember MacGyver. The millennials probably have no idea who MacGyver is. But MacGyver was a guy who could figure anything out and make something of it. Turn a toothpick into, a key to unlock a door. I don't know. You know what I mean? That's Uranus and Taurus. This is a weird week because not only does this new moon set off this Uranus and Taurus and set off a whole new vibe, the whole understanding of it is going to reveal the parts of yourself, because Uranus is kind of like a breakdown and then a breakthrough energy. It's going to show you where your self-worth is tested. And with the energies of this weekend of your ego that is so desperate to just do whatever it wants, just for a quick, crazy experience, which could go radically bad, what better way to set you up to come into Taurus to see, do you value your life enough? We're all going through it. We're all. So there's no person that's better than the other person or whatever. We're all coming into this energy kind of I'm willing to burn down or do something crazy just to kind of get away from it all, but not really realizing maybe you're putting your self-worth of the life that you live down for a second. And then, of course, Uranus and this new moon comes into Taurus, and then it kind of realizes, oh shit, I need to really start to see the quality of my life. How is the quality of my life? Is it truly there? Other interesting aspects, Mercury comes into Taurus after it squares Uranus, or conjuncts Uranus and squares Mars in shadow. And that's the other thing, Mars is in shadow now. Things are slowing down. So you can feel the frustrations. And wherever Mars is in your chart, you're going to feel frustration here. You're going to feel man, what's going on? Something's weird going on. But with Mercury coming into Taurus, it needs to start to understand, and especially Mercury in Taurus can start to really count pennies and start to really count money and start to always start, and especially with Uranus now here and with the sun here and the moon coming through here, which exalted, this new moon is really setting off where you feel comfortable with your ability to manifest. And the best way to manifest is having control of your ego. Because if you don't have control of your ego, it'll take you to places that you're not in a good place to manifest. Right? If your ego takes you so far to where you don't have enough money in your bank account, but you go buy a Lamborghini, and then you go on the freeway and you want to show off, and so you do 195 down the fucking freeway, and you fucking blow the tire, and you fucking spin out, and you crash the whole thing, and you accidentally kill somebody? Well, how are you in a good manifesting spot for manifesting quality of life? That's going to take you your whole rest of your life to get over, number one, for the death of that person. And I'm using a really crazy analogy to kind of show you the kind of setup that's coming this weekend and into this week. This is about really thinking forward into the future. Remember, Uranus is about the future. Before you make choices, is this really the future you want to go down? Is that where you stand with your quality of self? Other things to think about is Mars does come into Aquarius this week, which again is another ego moment, wanting to just break free and go connect and more importantly, just be free. And I think that, with all this Capricorn that's been going on for so long, all of 2018 really has been this kind of feeling of, man, I'm in this spot, and it's not like you're stuck there, but you kind of are, you kind of feel like it's just the everyday grind, the everyday just, I got to be there. I got to do this. I'm required. My integrity's on the line. My commitments are on the line. And so, Mars in Aquarius starts to think, oh, you know what? I don't know if I want that. I want to exit out of that deal. I want to exit out of this. I don't want to do this. I want to do this only. This is where I want to go. So really, there is a lot, and especially Uranus coming into Taurus deals with a lot of our self-wants and self-needs of what we actually need and what we actually think is important to us that we don't want to let go of. So we are moving into, I would say, some of the biggest ego stuff we've ever been to in our life. Of really seeing where we're at with what we want and whether we can really manifest it. But the only problem is if you don't understand the ego completely and you don't understand and think things all the way through and see if it's really good or the quality of your life, like you could be spit out in a really weird place, So I think it's really a really interesting week to be alive. I think the best way to get through weeks like this is to just think smart. Think before you do stuff. Do the double check. Don't just jump into the lane. Look twice. Think 6 to 7 or 8 times. Talk to somebody before you make a major choice in your life. Do you even understand what a major choice is either? Or are you looking at major shit as like it's just no big deal? I think that, the weight of the world becomes even heavier now. Because it's all Earth. So much Earth this week. And we want to break free of it. But this is where the South Node is. So this is where not to aim, is this break free position. But the North Node, which is an opposition, which is, sure, it's like learning to find, of course, what's going to make you happy, but not coming it from a rebellious style. Like coming from a place of being fair, but also understanding what your heart is. And if it's not connecting and it's not a value to you, it's not like you're like, I'm over this sucks, peace out. This is about learning how to connect with people, about letting people understand what the value is in yourself that you want, the value that's good for all parties, and, learning to not be this crazy radical, kind of rebellious spirit that just says, fuck you, I'm over it, whatever, I'm just going to go this way, I'm going to do whatever I want. Because I think that's this major ego lesson is we can do what we want in this world and manifest what we want in this world, but there is something called the right time. Everything that's going to happen this week is it the right time to really do that? Is it the right time to really, go through this, put myself through this? It's about looking at your life a little bit farther out and seeing if at this moment you should do this in your life. That's the theme of this whole week. Like, should I really be doing this at this moment? It's kind of like a drinker being like, I just, what? I enjoyed having fun last night. I'm just going to drink before I go to work today. Like, is that the right time to drink? This is where our ego starts to actually convince itself, oh yeah, no, it's good. I can do this. This is what's worth it. This is a time to keep thinking things through. Keep processing things. This new moon, it's in a slight opposition to Jupiter. It is trining Pluto. This is definitely about going deeper and looking wider. This is definitely about learning. This is definitely about, time with all this Capricorn stuff. This is also the new moon that is squaring the eclipses. Points, right? 27 Aquarius and 28 Leo that we had on August 21st, 2017. it's in opposition to those points, you know? So, and this is the halfway point until we have the next set of eclipses. So to me, it really is kind of trying to understand the last year of your life, and in many ways going, okay, the last year happened, but am I ready to move to a higher level of value? I hate to use the idea of the caste system that the Indians used for a long time, which is, of course, in my opinion, not a good system and very unfair. But Taurus is the realm of jewels and gold, and, you know, unfortunately, it's the haves and the have-nots. And with Uranus here, if you look back at the last time it was in Taurus, it was a world of haves and have-nots. And the haves know their value and know how to manifest and don't think about counting their pennies, and know because they have the skill. But we're in a world today where everybody is counting, you know, trying to find a coupon, trying to find a discount here. And guess what? With Uranus there, it is the ultimate lesson of knowing how to create and knowing how to manifest. And if you're in that vibration, it'll sink you faster than you realize into that even deeper. This is going to teach you to get over your humps of self-worth issues and manifesting issues now. Which, I'll be honest, since there's only 1%, right? They call it the 1% that owns what, like 50% of this earth or whatever, and maybe it's even more. It seems to me that, you know, not to give the 1% any credit, but those people are definitely in their manifesting stuff. Like, as us all 99%ers, we could try and say it's unfair and get pissed and do all these things and say all this shit we want. But at the end of the day it doesn't mean that we can't ever reach that level. And I'm not even saying that maybe is the level that we want to reach. I'm just using it as a stupid example. But that we all have to learn to manifest whatever we want in this world and stop doing things that are against our manifesting. You want to manifest $1 million? Stop using a fucking coupon because your energy is wanting to save money because you're so afraid of losing money. When you're afraid of losing money, you will never make more money, ever. Taurus is the hardest sign ever. You know why? Because it is a fixed earth sign. It is the who's that know how to manifest and the ones that don't. That's what it shows you. It's a very hard sign. You either are wearing gold or you're wearing, what is it, cubic zirconian. You're either wearing Kmart or you're wearing fucking John Vervatos. There is really no in-between in Taurus. You know? Honda Civics in the middle, right? Between Kia and Mercedes, I guess. Like, Taurus is about money. And people are so triggered by money. They're so triggered. So many people are triggered by money. Because they're afraid, oh, that's not how you class somebody, or that's not how you base somebody off how they are. And I agree. But for some reason in this zodiac and in this world and for ancients of civilizations, unfortunately, knowing how to manifest and the things that you have in life definitely does put you, and it doesn't matter what government system you're on, whether we're socialist, whether we're communist, whether we're a republic, whether we're a democracy, or whether we're under, you know, some crazy dictator. Guess what? Even in Egypt, it was the same way. It doesn't, like, I believe the new world that's coming with the Age of Aquarius is about changing these things, but for some god-awful reason, these are issues that are going to come up in all of our lives now. It's going to happen. So, I'm just preparing you all for it. That second you start getting weird about money, is that second with Uranus that you need to go, I'm looking higher. I'm not looking lower. Because Uranus will fuck you, and it will fuck you so fast, out of nowhere, and lightning strike you. Bam! To teach you to stop looking that way. Uranus breaks patterns. Where are your patterns about your self-worth issues. And a lot of it is because and this comes to this weekend before Uranus even comes into Taurus and the new moon is, you don't choose with your ego really good places to even manifest. You choose desires and you choose crazy, stimulated places for quick highs, whether it's just, I'm going to go take a run on the beach right now, even though maybe you had some work to do or you had some things that you could have got done, but you just were like, I'm going to avoid that. Like, some deep shit here. It's going to be a crazy week. Venus finishing up through Gemini this week. Just very sociable aspects, but I think when it comes to our value systems and our understandings of our relationships and stuff, these are some crazy and weird understandings and conversations that are going to be had. And also big realizations about our money and our financial placement and our ability to manifest and do things financially. So, this week's no joke, but it can be awesome. With Mars square Uranus, you could change the game of your life forever if you're willing to start making choices that are good for you, knowing that on the fly, knowing your value system and your skills better, and owning your value of self. It's hard because I think Uranus wants to have everybody have value, everybody have the same money and the same worth. But what Uranus teaches people is Taurus is self-worth. You cannot teach, you got to teach people to fish in order to get fish, Like you just can't have a bunch of people doing all the fishing and I don't know. Like, who knows? This transit is going to bring up shit I've never known. I wasn't alive for Uranus and Taurus. I'm just an astrologer giving you guys my opinion about it all. But I guarantee you 100%, everybody deep down inside is looking at their financials majorly and wants more and wants more excitement there and wants that. But if your ego is taking you to places that don't put you in a good place to even be able to handle that, well, then how are you going to get there? Some of the biggest lessons I think that are going to come this week. And to be careful. I don't put out warnings a lot, but holy shnikes. Be careful. Don't do anything stupid this weekend. Or even into this week. This is way too much of Uranus and Mars. And these two planets, when they're not happy and they're against each other, it is war. It is craziness. It is traumatic accidents. That's all I got for you guys, even though it was 28 minutes.